Hi everyone, this is Sam.
And I'm Fitz.
And this is the third part in the series of setting up a business in Ghana. And today we'll be focusing on filling the relevant forms for your company.
And of course at Servled we are very passionate about investing in entrepreneurs and seeing businesses become world-class, in our side of the world.
Good. And this is one of the many channels that we use to disseminate information on doing business the right way in Ghana.
Yes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and our handle is Servled.
Yes. And YouTube as well. You can search for Servled for our channel on YouTube, and you can also follow us on Google+. Now, Servled Friday is also another channel, and we've talked about this in the past. You want to talk about this briefly?
And yes, I would like to also say thank you to those who have already benefited, immensely from our Servled Fridays. I know many of you have asked us to open it up so that your friends can come and be part of Servled Fridays as well. We would like them to send us an email to info@servled.com, and we will be happy to bring them in to meet one of our seasoned entrepreneurs and leaders to talk about some relevant business points.
Good. So let's get into today's session. Filling the relevant forms for your incorporation, and we'll be focusing on limited liability companies today.
That's correct. We already mentioned the TIN, so at this point you already have your TIN. You have chosen your business name, you've done the search to ensure that the name is available, and then you know the objects of the business that you're setting up. Would like to talk a bit about directors. So the Companies Act requires that you have at least 2 directors to set up a limited liability company.
Good, and I believe that we'll spend some time talking about selection, though. What kind of person you should select for your company, as people that would add value in the future, blog. Good.
That's correct. And then as well, the company secretary, in the past we realized that most people just put anyone, but it will be good to find someone who has a legal background, who understands corporate governance, who will be able to help you in this role.
Good. So you have the directors, the company secretary, I believe the auditors as well. You want to highlight?
Yes, the auditor. So at this point, the auditor actually has to give you a letter of consent, which is attached to the forms that you fill and present to the Registrar General's department.
Okay. So we've gone through that list. Now the stated capital. That's one thing that we also need to address, right?
Yes, so typically the shareholders come together and depending on the objects of the business, they vote an amount, and say that this is the amount that they are going to use to set up this business. So the government also charges, or let's say, there's a stamp duty component of the amount that they set aside as the stated capital. This is 0.5%, so assuming you put 100,000 Ghana cedis to set up the company, the government will charge you a stamp duty of 0.5%, which amounts to about 500 Ghana cedis.
Okay, good. So now you have that. I believe you're ready now to fill your Form 3, your Form 4, and the regulation?
That's correct.
Good. Okay.
And then the shareholders at this point, depending on how much they have individually put aside to set up this company, will be given shares, according to how much they have put in the company.
Okay.
So this is the time when shares are distributed to the individual shareholders.
Oh, good. So I think that's one thing that we have to talk about in a future session, though, where we talk about, okay, when do share certificates get issued and stuff like that. But that's something to talk about later. This has actually been good as usual.
Yes.
Very, very high level overview, very summarized, good. And anything
but
to add?
Yes, we like to always add, if you have any questions specific to, going to register a company, please feel free. Do not hesitate to just send us an email, info@servled.com, and we'll be very happy to answer any of the questions that you have.
Good. So these vlogs are, we make them, they're not supposed to be exclusive. You can find information and help from qualified people who can help you as well. But as Fitz just said, contact us if you have any questions. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you and God bless.
God bless. Bye.